हरि ओम। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयम् नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। We are trying to study Brahma Sutra Shankara Bhashya, and we are in the Pratardhanadhikaranam, Pratardhana Adhikaranam. Again, the entire focus of Brahma Sutra is to unfold the ultimate reality Brahma by thought process. It requires continuous stimulation of thought process if one has to understand the metaphysical, the ontological aspect of the reality. When we think about our own life, extracting ourselves little away from what we are doing daily as a routine, everyone gets up, goes for a job, makes money, makes 2 square meals, looks after the kids, grows old, reads books, maybe scriptures, and thinks. More or less, the biography of everyone gets covered under these statements. However, the one who has developed even an ordinary ability to introspect and think about the life, the first thing that we realize is when we say I am alive, I mean I am aware of. Being aware of yourself and your surroundings is the sign of life. If one asks us, describe what you mean by you are in this world, all the answers would ultimately boil down to one statement, and the statement is, I am aware of myself and the things around me. And that is the reason why I am alive. This statement is utterly impossible when I am in deep sleep. In deep sleep, I am neither aware of anything around me and I am not aware of myself. Yes, after the sleep is complete, I do say I slept off. Yet, during the period of sleep, when I was asleep, I had no idea or awareness of anything around me. I was not even aware of myself. We use a phrase called I slept like a log. A log is expected not to have any awareness of where it is lying. In other words, the moment I am aware of my surroundings and myself, I am alive, or I am in an avastha called Jagruta avastha. In Swapna avastha, I am aware of some imaginary things happening as real for a particular period of time, and I am aware of myself in dream as the participant of that dream structure. So there is an element of ascertainment through the sense organs when you are in a Jagrut avastha, while that ascertainment through the sense organs may not be possible in Swapna avastha. Otherwise, both the avasthas are not very different. In one, that is in dream state, the whole kaleidoscope of happenings end in a shorter period of an hour or 2 hours, while in Jagrut Avastha, the same kaleidoscope continues for about 80 to 100 years and it also ends. What it means is, as long as I am aware of myself and the things around me, I am in Jagruta Avastha. But these two presumptions give rise to a third important presumption, and that presumption is, when I'm aware of something other than me, I am simultaneously aware of myself, and as a logical corollary, I am aware of the fact that I am separate from what I am aware of. You cannot be aware of a thing unless a thing is separate than you. That means there is definitely a dichotomy between an experiencer and that which is experienced. Then only the experience can take place. All my life, I am aware of myself as the perceiver, Kruhitru, Pramata, and I am aware of something other than myself. Something other than myself, I am aware because I see everything around me not as me. That which is not me is other for me. And I am aware of myself as what? As this body. That means my awareness is either focused on a 6 feet or a 5.5 feet structure called body, which has a capacity to be aware of something outside, that I call as my body. And I'm aware of the object which is not me, which is surrounding me, with which I am interacting. And this interaction of me as a body, things around me as objects, is possible only because the constructive interface between the perceiver, the body, and the surrounding is possible because of five things called panchendriya. My ability of my physical body to interact with the objects around me and make me aware of those objects, it's possible because of my ability to interact with them through my sense organs. So if in a pipe the water is flowing, the water will not be in touch with outside because it is within the pipe. If there is a small hole made into the pipe, the water will burst from there and come outside. Other than that hole, the water is still in the pipe. Similarly, other than these five holes that I have called sense organs, which are constantly directed outside towards the objects that are there outside, if they are not there, I cannot be aware of the surroundings. Stretching this logic a bit further, if we are able to imagine a situation that we do not have any sense organ, we can't hear, we can't see, we can't smell, we can't have touch, we can't taste anything. What would be the situation of such a person? Would it be similar to the sleep? No, it won't be. I shall be unaware of the surroundings because my sense organs are completely shut off. Yet, there is one organ that is still alive and kicking, which does not and need not depend on the sensual perception. And that organ is the repository of whatever the sensuous organs have so far poured in the past, not only in this life but in earlier life, and that organ is antakarana. In my mind, I shall be carrying the impression, sanskar of whatever I have so far interacted with the surroundings or the world, not in this birth, but many, many births, because death is just a punctuation and not a full stop. A temporary intermission in the drama doesn't mean that the drama has ended. So all those accumulated interactive impressions that I am carrying in my mind gives to a thing called memory, smruti. These smrutis have an ability to resurrect themselves without the help of sense organs through which in the first place they came inside. After I tasted the mango with the sense organ called tongue, the taste of the mango, even if the mango is not there, even if the tongue is cut off, the taste of the mango lingers in the mind in the form of a memory which can be excited to bring back the same experience which common language calls as nostalgia. So inputs coming from outside when they are cut off, inputs made alive from the buried memories, come into full swing. And such a person whose all sense organs have been shut off will be constantly and continuously busy with only one indriya called antakarana or mind, playing with the impressions called memory or smriti for a long time. His pastime would be to regale in the memories excited, smritis excited from the antakarana. Now, there is another uncanny ability that antakarana has, and that ability is called extrapolation. I see with my eyes a bird flying. The impression of the bird flying stays in my mind as a memory of flight. Something going up towards the sky from the earth is the memory of the bird flying. And that leads to extrapolation that if the bird can fly, what if man tries to fly? Now, man flying so far has not been a reality, but it can be imagined. Imagination is essentially and always based on only and only the impressions of the reality. No extrapolation of imagination is possible unless it has a grain or a thread of truth in the reality, which is the base for the imaginative extrapolation. I see an eggshell cracking. I can extend that extrapolation saying that a day will come when the sky will crack. Cracking of a sky is an idea that is extrapolated in my mind simply because of the realistic impression of the cracking of an egg that I have seen. So, three things. One, the sensory or sensuous inputs coming through the sense organs is the one part. Memories in the form of the impressions received from such interactions called smriti as the second part, and the imaginative extrapolation of these smritis as the third part is what all that we can do. There is nothing more we can do. Think about this. Is there anything other than this possible for a human mind? And I say human mind because we are talking about human beings. In all the three things, one statement that is common to all is you are aware of either the object when sense organs are working, either the memories when the mind is working, or of the same mind when the imaginary extrapolation is working. That means the common substratum is you can be constantly aware of something, of what may differ depending upon the state that you are in. Continuous, sustained awareness of. And moment we say awareness of, the word awareness of, the word of indicates that the one who has awareness is different than what he is aware of. Logically speaking, there can be two states. One that you are completely unaware of, one that you are aware of. When you are aware of, it could be three things: the object through the sense organs, memory through the mind, or the extrapolative imagination again through the mind. When you are unaware of, the situation entails that when you are in one of the three, other two you are unaware of. If you are dreaming, you are unaware of the Jagruta Avastha. If you are thinking about how I spent my childhood when I was 9 years old, you are unaware of the current condition where you are sitting. If you are aware of the current condition where you are sitting, you are unaware of the ninth standard. What did you do? That means you can be aware of only one thing at a time, putting other awarenesses at the relegated to the background. So the current life can be described as awareness of things that are coming from the repertoire to the front, going back another thing coming to the front, going back third thing coming to the front. And because of its succession, it appears to be in continuity, and that is why we call it as a life. Once this is clear in the mind, then if one tries to be aware of a particular thing for a very long time, certain peculiar changes happen in the perceptive apparatus called mind or the antakaran. You are aware of an object called car, a mountain, a tree, and in these awarenesses, the other peculiarity is there is constant shifting between awareness of one object to the other, to the third, to the fourth, to the fifth. If by chance one has an ability to continuously be in the awareness of a particular thing, certain miraculous observations are observed by the person. If somebody is aware of the object that he is looking at and keeps looking only at that object and only focusing on that object, the untold, unheard, ununderstood aspects of that object start coming to the light. We all are aware of a second, an hour, a minute, and a second. Everybody is aware of a second as a unit of a time. So you are aware of a second, but we have never thought about millionth of a second. But there is somebody who was thinking about splitting the second into smaller proportions, so a billionth of a second, and currently a billionth of a second has been measured. Billionth of a second. In fact, the 2023 Nobel Prize for Chemistry went to the same lady, scientist, who was focusing through what is called as quantum dots. It's a part of the semiconductor technology. Leaving aside the technical part of it, it was possible to see billionth of a second, which we never thought of. She thought of, and she became aware of that. What it means is, whenever you are aware of only one thing on a consistent observatory basis, many aspects of that particular thing explore in front of you. Everyone knew second, but one person focused and concentrated on it, and she went to the discovery of something leading to the Nobel Prize this year. However, this focus has been only on one particular object and one particular aspect of an object. So it was the Vishesha Guna of a particular object. When someone tries to see crossing the boundary of Visheshata to Samanyata, That what makes that object alive and kicking or ticking, does it have similar kind of something which is present everywhere, is the object of those who research or those who contemplate to find out common substratum in all the objects. So both are researchers in their own might and own right. A yogi is a researcher in his own might and right. Only thing is, a subject of research is commonality of all the objects and the underlying substratum. While a scientist is focusing on an object, one is in deductive logic, another is in synthesis. That common principle which could be applied to each and every object, including me as an object, and how does that operate, is the subject of research for a yogi, while a subject of research for a scientist is one particular aspect, vishesha guna, of one particular incidence or an object. And in both the cases, both are starting at a point where it starts with awareness of. When someone is researching in quantum dots or semiconductor, electricity, etc., one is only aware of what is called as a semiconductor junction, where the conduction of the current and the resistance of the current can be manipulated at certain specific point because of mixing of certain impurities, let's say such as antimony in silicon, which ultimately makes the diodes, the ICs, on which all the nanotechnology is based upon. What is happening is the researcher is forgetting about himself and focusing on a particular thing. So he is trying to extend his awareness of further and further and further. So he becomes more and more aware of deeper things, leading to the knowledge of the deeper aspect of a functioning or the structure of an object that he's studying, leading to many discoveries. But what happens to the yogi who is trying to find out the common substratum? He's also trying to be aware of, but he's trying to be in the field where he is trying to study the awareness of awareness of. He is thinking about the thought itself. The well-known statement by Aristotle, God is nothing but thought thinking itself. Thinking about thought leads to commonality or a common substratum of all the objects around, including the observer. And when such a kind of contemplation and concentration is done, then suddenly it dawns in the stage-wise manner for the one who is contemplating the commonality of everything. So he starts with particular and reaches to common. A scientist starts with common and reaches to the particular. This commonality leads to increase in the awareness. That awareness of the billionth of billion second, which was not there, now has come within the purview of the observer, leading to the discovery. While for the yogi, the awareness keeps on increasing because of his art of contemplation or concentration, and his awareness now extends from a particular object as an object to the object as a common thing being observed in another object, another object, another object, and the commonality is perceived more. When this commonality goes to a very high extent, it becomes universality. The contemplating yogi then increases his awareness to the universal level, and he becomes the master of awareness of the universality. This universality has been referred to as the Hiranyagarbha Upasana. Increasing the awareness of myself from what I can see through my senses, which is the smallest application of awareness, to increasing the awareness to a level where I am aware of everything right up to the level of the entire creation, called Hiranyagarbha Upasana. When he realizes that he is nothing else but awareness, and he realizes that everything around me is also only awareness, then naturally he comes out with a statement that I am awareness. I am the truth. What I see around me is the awareness. What I see around me is the truth. So he understands he is the truth. He is the awareness. He is the consciousness. What is seen around is the consciousness. And when consciousness sees another consciousness, then it doesn't say that that is another consciousness. He says that that is me. And this consciousness, when it is exhibiting itself into higher functionality, because the structural component is known to the yogi, he looks at the higher functionality and says, that is me. As of now, in the solar system, the highest functionality to the consciousness is given to the sun. That is why sun is called God. What is God? Diva, Deva. Enlightened. Enlightened by the consciousness. It is highest functional application of pure consciousness. Higher the functional application of consciousness, it is called Vibhuti, which is big, mighty, huge, utterly incomprehensible by human mind. All that is which is mightiest Vibhuti is nothing else but the functional implication of the consciousness. And now, when such a Rishi, whose contemplation has made him reach to the awareness of all, looks at this kind of functional application of consciousness, he looks at it and says that, oh, that is me. Such was the case of Rishi Vamadeva, who said, I am verily the moon, I am verily the sun. And when such yogi, in that height of contemplation, where he is experiencing himself to be everywhere, including those effulgent vibhutis, he utters certain things which have become a part of the Veda in the form of Vedanta or Upanishad, and then he says, I am the truth. For a commoner, it becomes a big and a vexing question. We know Indra is the god of such a caliber, who has developed the consciousness to such a level where he has realized that he is the ultimate consciousness. And from the standpoint of the realized consciousness, he is trying to say to Pratardana, Pratardana has asked for a boon, that what is the highest beneficiary thing for the human beings? Tell me that. And the Indra says, know verily that I am the one, I am the prana. Giving a glimpse to the common people all around in this universe, seeing that the pulsating thing in everybody is nothing else but the prana. So the whole thing is nothing else but Rai and prana, matter and energy. He looked at the component called energy and said that, oh, I am that energy. What he was meaning was, The manifestative aspect, which is called energy or prana, is nothing else but a consciousness manifesting as prana. It is the same consciousness which manifests as Rai also. But since the focus of now talking was towards the prana, the Indra Deva said that I am the prana. And that statement of the Rishi became a part of Vedanta, because Vedanta is nothing else but the collection of aphorisms, shortly spoken statements of these elevated souls, but that created confusion in the mind of a commoner like us who is reading the Vedanta, and suddenly it came to the mind that, oh, he's referring to the prana, but prana is nothing else but Vayu. So the reference to the prana cannot be Brahma. To allay this confusion, Brahma Sutra is written, and in this particular sutra, which is under the consideration called Pratardana Adhikaranam, Indra Deva, whatever he had said, is a reference to the ultimate consciousness or Brahma only. Although he is saying that I am the prana, and know me, you shall become immortal by knowing me. Aham prajñosmi, I am pranosmi. I am the prana. And if you know me, you will be amara, meaning thereby you will be out of this world of the cycle of birth and death. And that is why the sutra number 29 says, Na vaktuhu atma upadeshat iti chet adhyatma sambandha bhumahi asmin. The Purva Paksha is trying to say that, all right, Indra is an elevated soul or Deva, agreed. But at the end, sir, it is a Deva. Deva is not Brahma. Deva is the functional higher aspect of consciousness. It is not Deva. Yes, it is a high functional aspect. It is an elevated aspect. Agreed. It has powers or siddhi because of its increased awareness. But it's an entity which is a part of the universe. What is the locus standi for the Deva? What is the position of Deva if the universe is not there? He's gone. Deva is in the loka. If Deva is in the loka, then this statement which is said that I am the prana by Indra is a statement made by a vakta. That means vyakti, person. Indra is a person, maybe God, elevated person. And when a person speaks, it cannot be Brahma. Why? Brahma has no body. Brahma cannot speak, will not speak. Nishkriya. One of the criteria of Brahma is Nishkriyata. Nishkriyata means by itself it doesn't do anything. How will it say that I am the prana? So the Purva Paksha says, Na vaktuhu atma upadeshat. The arguments that are given by the Purva Paksha is, when Indra is saying, know me, and I am the Prajñatma Rupa Prana, it is just an utterance of a Deva, which is the elevated person, nothing more than that. Second objection is, Vakta hi kaschit grahavan devata visheshaha. What has happened is, I am an ordinary mortal Jeeva who is talking right now. Indra is elevated soul, but he is also a Jeeva. Deva and me both are Jivas only. Why? As long as Upadhi is there, you are a Jiva. Maybe he is elevated Jiva. I am a very common, ordinary Jiva. So when Jiva is speaking, where is the question of Brahma speaking? So Jiva cannot be Brahma. Second objection. Third is, Brahma is neutral, So there is no question of Brahma declaring itself as Brahma, because Brahma is without speech and without mind. Fourth objection is, in the same Kaushitaki Upanishad, it is said that Tri Shirishanam Twashtra Mahanam Arunmukhayanti Kshala Vrukebhyaha Prayacham. What this statement means, Indra is saying, I slew or I killed three-headed son of a demon called Twashtri, and thus I relieved a person called Arun Mukha, who was the devotee of Shalvruka. There is a story about which this reference has come. The essence of the story is Indra killed somebody and saved somebody. This killing and saving, how Brahma can do? Can Brahma kill? Indra, time and again we have seen, Indra Devata went for the fight and then he defeated and then he slew him, he cut him, he was killed and he pushed him to the Patala and all the. How Brahma can do all this? This is referring to nothing else but a Jiva. And another thing is, why he was able to do this extraordinary feat of killing somebody and throwing in the Antariksha, etc., is because Indra is saying that I did this because I have Balam. And in order to say that I have Balam, he is saying that I am the Prana, because Shruti says Prano hi Balam. If Prano vai Balam, then he is referring to himself as Prana because he is trying to say that I am mighty. So mightiness is being referred. Where is the question of Brahma? Another and the last objection of Purupaksha is the word Prajnatma is used for Devata. Now Prajnatma doesn't mean Brahma. Why? Apratihata Jnana Devata itihi vadanti. Apratihata Jnana, the one who has Akhanda Jnana. Akhanda Jnana means omniscient. The one who knows everything on a continued basis. We have Jnanam when certain thing is being thought of. When we are not thinking of anything, we don't have the knowledge. Do we know the quantum physics? No. Why? We have not thought about it. That Jnanam is absent. So our Jnanam is patchy Jnanam. There is no continuity. We are not constantly knowledgeable of all the things around us. Devata are. So Devata means apratihata jnana devata itihi vadanti. So that is why Indra is using the word prajnatma to himself. So in short, this is being spoken by a deva called Indra. Indra is nothing else but an exalted jiva. And a jiva is talking about killing somebody because of the power, and the power comes because of the prana. So it is a very simple statement of a deva talking about his power and mightiness due to prana, because of which he is saying, I am the pran, I am the prajnatma. Purva Paksha. Siddhanta Paksha says, we are sorry, sir, you are mistaken. Why you are mistaken? First objection to defeat you is, Yavat asmin sharire prano vasti tavat ayuhu. That means till the prana is there in the body, life is there. This is what we say. The ability to give the life and take back the life is only possible to pratyagabhuta prajnatman. That means that which has power to give the life and take back the life. Power to give the life is not with the prana. Power to carry with the life is through prana. Fine. But prana by itself cannot give life or cannot take away life. Modality of the life to maintain the life and extinguish the life is done through prana. That which is done through is not the originator. So prana by vayu, what you say, is not the originator or giver of the life. The giver of the life is consciousness. So that means if the word prajnatma or prajnatman is used, it is used for the consciousness, not for the vayu. And then there is a Shruti, which is very important Shruti, which is used by the Siddhanta Paksha. Tad yatha rathasya areshu nemihi arpita nabhavara. In case of a wheel of the bullock cart or whatever was there in Vedic times, taking analogy or drushtanta of that, the Rishi is explaining in Shruti that the wheel has spokes. All the spokes of the wheel come in the central axle or the central point where every single spoke comes and rests. So all the spokes and the wheel thereof is possible to work only because the center is holding everything. In the similar manner, as an analogy, evam eva bhuta bhuta matraha pradnya matraha swa arpita pradnya matraha prane arpita sa esha prana eva pradnyatva ananda ajara amruto. This is the Shruti of Upanishada. The way the spokes of a wheel are put on one end of the wheel and the other to the axle or the central point, similarly, Bhuta Matra, Pancha Mahabhut and Tanmatra are put on one hand, and Pradnya Matra, Pancha Jnanendriya and Jnan on the other hand. They are hooked to the prana, which is Ananda Rupa, Jara Rahita and Mrityu Rahita. In this Shruti, Panchamahabhuta and Jnanendriya, they are said to be resting in the center called prana. Now, prana here is being referred as Brahma or consciousness. That is why they say that it is resting in the prana, which is Ananda Rupa Jara Rahita and Mrityu Rahita. If they were referring to the Vayu prana, then where is the question of Ananda Rupa? Pranavayu is Ananda Rupa? No. Is Pranavayu Jara Rahita? No. Is Pranavayu Mrityu Rahita? No. That means the Prana word, although it is used here, it is not used as a Vayu or the Shwasa Uchchavasa Vayu, but Prana here means Brahma only. So thus, that means Vishaya and Indriya Vyavahara are the spokes. And the axle where these spokes are resting is Pratyagatma or Atma or Brahma. This is how the Uttara Paksha is defending. And to further give their explanation, the 30th Sutra says, Shastra Drushtya tu Upadesho Vamadevavat. The question comes, why is it that such Brahma realized people, they make declarations like this? That is because once one is one with the consciousness, once somebody is not aware of, but are awareness themselves. There is a difference between being aware of and difference between being aware. Pure awareness, that means you are aware, but if you are asked a question, aware of what? Nothing. Unfortunately, such a situation is not imaginable by us because we are constantly aware of something with the help of sense organs, aware of an object, aware of a thought, aware of an imagination. We are always aware of. We are never only aware. Just sitting, the objects do not exist. The thoughts do not exist. The imagination does not exist. What will remain? Only awareness will remain. That awareness, once it comes to somebody, then he is basking only in the consciousness. Being in the consciousness alone, when you are neither aware of the objects, nor of the thoughts, nor of the imagination, nor of the antakarana, then what will happen? You are only aware. And how will you see everything around? Only awareness. So aware, one who is aware, experiences awareness, and experiences awareness of everything around him, because everything around him is only awareness. He is awareness. Awareness being aware of awareness is only awareness. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnameva Avashishyate. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Awareness, being aware of the awareness, is awareness itself. Awareness watching awareness cannot be two. So awareness is aware of awareness. Seems to be a faulty statement. So what remains is only awareness. Off word has dropped. And at that point of time, if because of awareness, one is able to see upadhi like sun, star, galaxy, vayu, akash, very extemporally the Rishi says, oh, I am that akash, I am that vayu, I am that sun, I am everything. Same thing was said by Mansur, the Sufi saint. Anal Haq, I am the truth. Common people could not understand, and he was hanged for speaking against the Lord. Anal Haq. Haq is truth in Sufi Tattvajnana. So in Brihadaranyaka Upanishada, Vamadeva Rishi says, Tad etat pashyan Rishi Vamadevaha pratipade aham manuhu bhavam aham suryascha iti. After knowing Brahma, Vamadeva Rishi said, I am Manu, I am Surya. So Indra Devata, after realizing the Brahma, said, Mameva Vijaniha, know me Pratardan, and that is the highest for the human beings. That leaves with only one doubt. How is it that the Indra, although he is Brahma Swarupa or Brahma, how is he killing people? Demons are killed. That is violence. Even if he is a demon, how he can kill? Tasya me tatra lomacha na miyate sayomam vedanaha vai tasya kena cha karmana loko miyate is the statement in Kaushitaki Upanishad. Tasya me tatra lomacha na miyate. My hair is also not touched by any karma or act. The one who knows me, even if he does any act, it does not alter his state of Brahmadnyata. That means Brahma Swarupa person, whatever he may do, whatever. That is why in Viveka Chudamani, Shankaracharya says he can be Balavat, Pishachavat. It is not considered as karma. When it is not a karma, there is no question of any blot being there. It is only when the karma happens, and for karma to happen, you have to be a karta. When karta himself is absent, because why? Pure consciousness is not a karta. Karta is ahankara paschata sthiti. Ahankara laya sthiti cannot bring in kartrutvata. And when kartrutvata is not there, bhoktruttvata is not there. So there is no kartrutva, bhoktrutva, bhranti. Neither he is doing anything, nor he is enjoying anything, because he is neither the doer nor the enjoyer. In such situation, anything that happens at his hand in this universe is considered as Leela. So it may so happen that Bhagavan Mahadev came and did something, and because of it, Daksha Raja was completely destroyed, and then Bhairavas went there because Parvati was insulted. And then question comes to the mind, how Shankara, fine, he was angry, but this is the way he should behave? Such common questions may come to the mind. That is why Indra kills is being explained here. With these arguments, Siddhanta Paksha is trying to defeat the Purva Paksha to establish the fact that the reference to the prana made in Kaushitaki Upanishad and other places is reference to the Brahma only and not the Vayu prana that we are talking about. Incidentally, the argument from Siddhanta Paksha, one more argument is left, and after this, the first path of this Brahma Sutra would be over, and then we will be moving to the second path in the coming session. Hari Om. Om Purnamada Purnam Midam Purnat Purnam Idachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Sanjay ji. You were mentioning about a synthesis theory. So Karl Marx was making a research on this synthesis. I read from thesis, antithesis takes birth, and then out of which synthesis take. Then again, this synthesis is split into thesis and antithesis. So similarly, this world exists. That is one of his theories. Is it relevant to our Brahma Sutra study?
Not at all. Karl Marx was focused or perhaps obsessed with finding the ultimate discriminatory inequalities in this world. Inequalities in economy, inequalities in society, inequalities in the whole world by itself. While researching on this as a subject, he came out with these kind of assumptions. All the assumptions, including the bourgeois and the proletariat, etc., all of them ultimately then got applied to the economics, and naturally certain countries adopted it, and ultimately it was proven to be of a theory which was not lasting forever. Synthesis in its originality, the way the Rishis have looked, is far higher a concept. Finding a common truth and a common substratum of all of this plurality is a gargantuan or a Himalayan task to know, because the plurality or the diversity is to such a great extent that to find out a common substratum requires enormous amount of contemplation, which only the Rishis could do. Seeing variety is a common thing, but seeing commonality, unity in diversity, or the common substratum and experiencing it, it's not only the theoretical or contemplation, experiencing it, it's something what the Rishis have done. In Karl Marx theory, there is nothing to experience. It is just an intellectual dissection of the inequalities or the diversities or the pluralities of the world in order to find out a solution to the humankind's miseries. But that's too low an approach in terms of the lofty heights with which the Rishis have taken this question. So synthesis that was done by the Rishis was at a much higher level. Hari Om.
Yeah. So Rishis concentrated on commonality to particularity, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Then when we go on this theory, so on particular thing we concentrate the other thing other things around it will automatically gradually will fade away. Isn't
Absolutely.
it? Fade away.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Ab-
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Very
Any more questions?
Hariom, Dr. Sanjay ji. About Vamadeva Rishi, I think there is some mention came in the Aitari Upanishad also, and Vamadeva is having like a knowledge within the womb itself. So, can you little bit mention something about Vamadeva Rishi?
When we hear the story of Kahod Rishi or Vamadeva Rishi or Ashtavakra having knowledge in womb, we must understand the Arthavad in it. Having knowledge in the womb means that in the yester births, he was elevated to such a high level that this particular birth was only meant for either the Loka Kalyan or the propagation of the knowledge that they had obtained and certain particular role to play. So that is why in the womb, meaning by the past births have already created a situation whereby these souls had reached the lofty heights of awareness of consciousness. That being the case, Gurudeva himself, when he was a small child, Chatambe Swamigal used to play with him as if he was a grown-up Rishi, simply because through his yogic powers he was able to see Gurudeva in the small child's form also as the enlightened person, which we and you and me cannot see. So Vamadeva Rishi was the enlightened Rishi who delivered himself right from the womb till the later stage, being the epitome of consciousness itself, Brahmi Bhutata. All his utterances and his references have come again and again, being one of the most august rishis amongst the luminaries that the Hinduism had. So that is why Vamadeva Rishi's reference comes again and again. Hari Om.
Hariom. And just the what mentioned by Vamadeva Rishi, I am become like Manu, I am become as a like Surya. So is this something that's similar like Naneshwar Maharaj saying like Vishwachi Maje Ghar, or maybe Tukaram Maharaj is saying Tuka Akasha Evda or something?
Even Tuka Akasha Evada is the earlier manifestation of consciousness, because Akasha being Saguna Brahma, he was referring to becoming one with the Saguna Brahma. Akasha Evada refers to Hiranya Garbha Pratal. What Mauli or what Tukaram Maharaj is hinting at is that you are able to see Akash as the biggest and the highest, etc. So I am already that, but I am much more than that. Wherein Tripada Gayatri tells us that the one pada is what this created universe is, or Dashangula, one angula is this. I am the remaining 9 also. So, okay, Vishwachi Maje Ghara means as a consciousness, I have penetrated in each and everything, is what consciousness is speaking. So, it is not Jnanadeva Maharaj, it is not Tukaram Maharaj, it is Brahma speaking itself, uttering words in the form of human body. Hari Om.
Hariom.
Yeah, I have a question. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. In science, we always talk about discoveries and inventions. If we think about discoveries which are already existing, we just know about it later through the research. Whereas invention is something which we didn't know earlier. So, thinking metaphysically, is there anything that doesn't exist? Should there be an invention at all, or all are discoveries?
From the philosophical or metaphysical point of view, there can only be discoveries, there cannot be invention. Invention has already been made by the Lord. Now you have only discoveries left for you. In the Lord's premises, if you are able to decipher his complexities, let's take an example. 2023 chemistry Nobel Prize, which was given to this particular lady who was trying to find out the billionth and billionth of a second, and she was succeeded in doing that. The new vista that has opened now is by controlling these particular aspect of the electron, excited state of electron, it would be possible to alter the metallic status, alter the state of the particular element. What it would mean that it is possible perhaps to create certain materials rather from the material which is existing right now. So this creation from one material to another material is exactly similar to the Sankhya philosophy, where the Prakriti, in its flow with the Trigunas, with the help of Trigunas, she keeps on creating new things. In fact, the number of things that can be created through the Trigunas by the Prakriti is so vast that only one aspect of that as universe we have seen. There are many universes which we are not even aware of, which we cannot comprehend. For example, the dark aspect or the black hole, irrespective of so many discoveries that are coming, there are so many things which are yet unexplored, because Prakriti is playing its own role through the tamasa guna in the black hole, which we are not aware of. So there can only be discoveries and discoveries and discoveries, no inventions possible. Hari Om.
Yeah, that is a great knowledge. Thank you for that. So scientists are doing only they are just unveiling, then finding it out, which is already there. Though
Yes.
invention in spirituality, the word invention doesn't mean much. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, as a corollary, I think the thinking that prevails that paris is parish. When we use paris to convert something iron into gold, probably the electronic structure of iron must be changing to the electronic structure of the gold, I guess.
Absolutely. There are umpteen number of examples of realized souls, Jivan Mukta Muktatmas, converting, doing this as a miracle, even converting the normal iron sheet into a gold, or doing any other kind of change, or bringing water where the water is not existing. Even getting a fruit when the season was not there. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa asked for the fruit. How can a jnani ask for a fruit when the season is not there? Everybody said, Swamiji, it is not possible, except Naga Mahashay, who had faith in his Guru. He said, if Guru had said this fruit should be there, it should be there. And he went 3 days, 3 nights and found a fruit which was not in that season possible, lying on a tree, and brought it to him. And that is how Thakur Swami Ramakrishna was trying to show how faith has to be there. So everything and anything is possible, because Brahmi Bhuta means consciousness. Consciousness can do anything. Hari Om.